Namaskar. I'm Dr. Nalini Avinash Wagmare, working as an associate professor at Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth. Today's our topic is related to church historiography. So, B. Sheikh Ali writes from the national approach of the Greeks and the political treatment of the Romans in the ancient period, we have to pass on to the church and the Arab historiography of the medieval period, which is characterized by the hold of religion on the mind of the man. Actually, church historiography played an important role in the medieval historiography, as Arab, Persian, and church historiography also played an important role. During this period, religion had complete control over every person, and the historical events were explained not in accordance with the political events and the persons, but according history was given serious attention at the hands of the church to divine forces and Arab scholars. The following were the few characteristics of the church historiography. Let's see what were the characteristics. According to the views of church historians, every event in the universe takes place with the will of God. Means mainly the church historiography focus on the whatever happening in the world, that is the will of the God. It does not mean whether it is good or bad. It is beyond the power of human being to control over the historical phenomena. Man is merely playing in the hands of God. The church scholars do not believe that history is cyclic. They opine that every event happens in the world according to the direction of God. He is fully accredited with the results of the events. The God guides the historical forces, hence it is universal. According to church scholars, only those nations develop who follow the divine laws, while the others are bound to meet downfall. So mainly they trust in God and whatever happening in the world because of God. So nature of historical forces, Christian historians have faith in the impersonal nature of historical forces. The sources which are not within the understanding of the man are called impersonal, as they are completely within the command of God and applied neither locally nor regionally but universally. Single chronicle framework. Christian scholars have complete faith in single chronicle framework. They made use of Christian chronology with the aim of writing history. Actually, they always thought of universal history for the happening, and aim of it was to show that different chronological uh, happening had a set pattern with the birth of Christ in the center. Means before birth and after birth, they made that one center and write the starting the history. Then evaluate a special technique. Christian historians do a special technique of sacred writings by which they endeavor to explain the ways of man to God. Their approach was altogether subjective, completely based on faith. They were of the opinion that a course of action has been fixed by the divine forces. If anything unusual happened, they always named it divine will. They were against the critical scrutinizing of religious stories, and for it, they restored to indirect method of communication of their ideas. Christian historiography as central idea. The various events are dated backward and forward from the birth of the Christ. Hence, Christ is the central point of the Christian historiography. The endeavor to prepare everything around him and trace every happening up to him. The entire period has been divided by these historiographers in two periods, such as of light and darkness. Besides it, they subdivided these periods in a number of periods which have their own peculiar characteristics. They also gave history a social, religious, and economic meaning. The thought of providence. Christian scholars believe that history is a play which is written by God Himself. Everything in this world happens because of working providence and not due to the wisdom of or efficiency of man. Thus, idea of providence was established by the Christian historians and they held God responsible for each and every event. Professor Collingwood remarks providential history treats history indeed as a play written by God, but a play wherein no character is the author's favorite character. Everything happened because of will of God is the main objective of the writing this Christian history. The division of history. The historian of the Christian period can easily be divided into two parts, such as religious and secular. The former believed that the idea of history was guided by God Himself, while the others were known as pagan historians. Both types of history was chiefly the monopoly of the saints and were written simultaneously using the Renaissance period. The new interpretation of history. Both Greek and Roman historians adopted their method of interpreting historical events. The Greeks were highly critical in their approach, while the Romans were fully different in their thinking and approach. As the Romans do not have critical viewpoints, so the documents used by them were interpreted in a way that suited to religious literature. They also not paid much importance to the meaning and only restored it to narrative style. Then scope of comments. When the Roman Empire was at its zenith of glory, the people of Rome believed that it was because of their faith in Christian principles and philosophy. Hence, people made no comment on it. But after disintegration of the empire, the scholars and historians got an opportunity to comment the events and the administration of rulers. They also criticized the economic strains and burden of taxes, along with the corruption deteriorating problem of law and order. Then division of documents. The Christian historian divided all available literary documents into two parts such as sacred and profane. All the religious documents were put in the first category and secular ones were included in the second category. Great stress was laid on the religious or sacred documents. This division put hurdles up for a long time on the way of scientific inquiry. To sum up, we can say that historiography of the Christian period was not refined and events were presented in a very colored manner. The approach of the Christian historians was completely subjective and God played a prominent role in it. B. Sheikh Ali also writes, to them, history meant a process in which God and man participated. The humanity knew nothing was more wanted than faith in God, and that nothing is more powerful than the divine will. Then let's we see that who were the Christian historians who write about church history. Most of the scholars opine that Christian historians and scholars on the whole did not have critical and analytical approach towards the writing of history. In order to hide the shortcomings in the sphere of analysis, they devoted everything on the idea of providence. The following were some of the significant historians of Christian era whose views are given below. The most prominent historian among them was Saint Augustine. His book, The City of God, was his most famous book, which contained his ideas and viewpoint mentioned in his book. Then Sextus Julius Africanus, he was the first Christian historian who is given the credit of providing a chronology of the human past. Chronographia is his most famous book, which has 5 volumes. In his work, he has mentioned that after the birth of the Christ, the world would survive only for 500 years. In the composition of his work, Africanus did not make use of the material collected by himself, rather, he depended on the works of the previous historians. Hence, he was not an original writer. Authors like Manetho, Versos, Apollodorus, Josephus, Justus were his source material and utilized them in his writings. Then Eusebius Papilius, another historian known as the father of church history. One of his prominent work is Chronicles. It is divided into two parts. The former is known as Chronographia, which contained chronological order of the Jews and pagans, while the latter is called chronological canons. in which he gave chronological tables and marginal comments. The first work of Papilius is not original, whereas the second is based on original sources. Really, it is a great loss to the humanity that his original work is not available now. Ecclesiastical history is his second important. Actually, it made him very popular and he came to be known as the father of church history. This work of Eusebius is less a narrative than a collection of documents. His selection of documents highlights his ability and caliber. Thus, he made a significant role preserving the valuable documents which otherwise would have been lost forever. Professor Shotwell also observed, conscious of the value of the sources themselves, he weaves into his narrative large blocks of the originals, and in this way has preserved many a precious text which would otherwise be lost. Whatever his references can be verified, they prove correct, which gives a presumption of accuracy for those found in his work alone. Saint Augustine. Saint Augustine was the greatest of the church historiographers. Besides being a historian, he was a theologian, philosopher, teacher, and poet. The City of God was his most renowned work, which was written in 22 volumes. It is considered one of the most significant works of the Christian world. What was his chief views? Saint Augustine is one of the opinion that nothing is divine in the origin of state. It being a man-made institution has got evils in it. P. Sheikh Ali also writes, according to him, the state is man-made, hence it is an evil. Whatever God has done is so perfect and so beautiful, and whatever man has done is imitative and imperfect. The political institutions and system developed by man has various shortcomings. No form of the government is supposed to be perfect, but church has been devised by the God. Hence, it besides being a city of God is a religious kingdom. An earthly state before its establishment needs a lot of blood shed, but the city of God requires no killing for supremacy and domination. Actually, the earthly state needs a lot of physical force, but the authority of church is based on divine law. The former is temporary and unstable, whereas the latter was unlimited scope and is permanent in nature. P. Sheikh Ali also remarks that this city of God is of the divine foundation, and its office was as near as it was possible to realizing the heavenly vision upon earth. The kingdom of the church was the reflection of the kingdom of heaven. Actually, the chief aim of the city of God is to make man alive in essential unity with God. Dr. Sheikh Ali further remarks, the city of man is relative in importance, limited in scope, and transitory in nature. But the city of God is absolute in power, unlimited in scope, and permanent in nature, which opens the floodgates of higher knowledge in order to enable man to attain perfection. His chief views on state. To sum up, we can say in the fact the struggle was between the secular and theocratical forces, and State Augustine was fighting the theocratic battle with all the forces at his command. Scholars have compared the city of God, St. Augustine, with Plato's Republic, Sir Thomas More's Utopia, and Bacon's Atlantis, which certify the significance of St. Augustine. Though St. Augustine has been described as the greatest historian of his time, yet he was having a few shortcomings in the following words. Augustine does not trace events as they occurred, but as they fit into his scheme. The result is a magnificent manipulation which is all the freer to distort the lesser perspective because it is indifferent to them. Paulus Oraclus. Paulus was born in Spain, but he proceeded to Africa later on. He was very much influenced by Augustine and studied under him for 5 years. The providential theory of Augustine impressed him very much and began to have faith that the destinies of all men of different communities are guided by God. His most famous book, Seven Books of History Against the Pagans, was compiled between 411 to 418 AD. During the course of writing this book, he was greatly inspired by the writing of Herodotus, Livy, and Polybius. Paulus, in his work, has described the history of man from the creation up to the destruction of Rome by Paulus. As his description is quite sketchy, the purpose of his writing could not be achieved. Then Jerome was also known as Hieronymus, took birth in a town situated on the border of Dalmatia in 348. He became hermit at the age of about 30 and devoted himself to the expenses of religion. He often studied copied scripts in between his meditation. In 391 AD, he wrote De Viris Illustribus Cividi Scriptobus Electrica. In his work, he wrote the biography of 135 writers of earliest time with the aim to certify that Christians always produce great historians and scholars from time to time, but he selected the writers arbitrarily. Jerome, besides translating the Chronicles of Eusebius, he also wrote three significant works such as Life of Paul, The First Hermit, The Vulgate. Thus, he added new direction to the advancement of historiography with the translation of Chronicle and his own works. Summary, we can say that thus a brief summary of the works of Christian writers referred to above clearly indicate their distinct characteristics. Their approach in history writing was completely subjective and style was crude. They only wanted to prove that the nations which do not have faith in Christianity and had to suffer, and only those nations under name and fame which were the believer of the authority of church. So, the divine will of the God was the main objective mentioned in the Christian writings. To know more detail about Christian history and historiographer and history writing, you can refer these books. B. Shekeli book, History, Theory and Method. Then H. Carr book, What is History? Collingwood book, also The Idea of History. Then Majumdar book, Historiography in Modern India. S.P. Sen book, History and Historiography in Modern India. H. Subramaniam, even E. Sridharan book, History also important to refer, to write or to understand more about the church historiography. Thank you. Thank you very much.